your name and DOC number.
Daniel Merritt, 702687.
Yes, Mr. Merritt. And I'm going to read some information into the record, ask you to confirm it. Then Mr. Marabella will begin the parole interview process. We'll see if the lieutenant has anything he can add, and you'll be allowed to make a statement at the end before we vote. So, Mr. Merritt, you're classified as a third felony offender. You're currently serving a 12-year, 7-month sentence, and these are the convictions that I have listed: forgery, possession of buprenorphine, possession of methamphetamine, distribution of methamphetamine. You have a parole eligibility date November 18th, 2021. Good time is September 25th, 2022. Full term is September of 2030. February of 2030.
Yes,
Is that information correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Would you answer, Mr. Marabella?
Yes, ma'am.
Good morning. We're still in the morning. Good morning, Mr. Merritt. How are you, sir?
I'm pretty good. How about yourself?
I'm doing good. Mr. Merritt, how old are you, sir?
Sir,
How old are you?
20, about to be 25 next month.
Okay, you're currently 24 years old and you're a
Yes, sir.
third felony offender.
Yes, sir.
What do you think the issue is here?
Drugs.
Tell me about that. When did you start using drugs?
About the age of 17.
What did you start using?
Weed and Xanax.
And what did you progress to?
It just got worse.
Okay. And then when did you get on methamphetamines?
At the age of 19.
How often were you using methamphetamines?
About every day.
How were you able to function?
Okay, I guess. I mean,
Okay. Did you work?
yes, sir.
What kind of work did you do?
I was a welder's helper. I'm a forklift operator. I used to build fences. I've done a lot of different work.
What kind of forklift operating did you do? Where'd you work at?
Rogers Manufacturing in
Okay.
West Monroe
Okay.
for about
Now
6 months.
Now that's why you've been in prison?
Yes, and I worked at FWM in Minden, Louisiana, where I'm from, as a forklift operator.
Now, what kind of work did you do on the outside?
A forklift operator, build fences, and
Same kind of work?
sir,
Same kind of work?
yes, sir,
While using methamphetamines?
yes, sir.
Did you ever get drug tested on your jobs?
I did one time, but it was before I started back using.
All right. How long have you been in prison this time?
I've been in since October 19th, 2018.
What programs have you taken while you've been in prison?
I've took risk management, and I'm currently in Inside Out Dads.
Tell me about risk management. What did you learn in that?
I learned that in order to stay away from drugs and all that, you have to change your people, places, and things and not be in denial about anything.
And you've been on work release for how long now? You're working at currently working at Rogers?
No, I currently work at the truck wash in Rayville, but I'm supposed to be going back to Rogers when I get out.
Okay. When did you leave Rogers?
About 5 months ago.
All right. So tell me how you anticipate staying off of drugs.
Well, I intend to go to a halfway house or a sober living house whenever I get out and attend AA meetings and stuff like that.
Now, you've been in work release. You were at Rogers before that. You've been at work release for how long?
About 2 years now.
Okay. And you've been in prison for how long?
I think about 2.5 years since October.
So you've been doing mostly work release. You haven't had time to do a lot of programs while you've been there.
No, sir.
You think you need substance abuse? Do you think you need treatment to stay off of drugs? I mean, you're a third-time felony offender. Most everything has to do with drugs.
I just took substance abuse.
Had you ever had treatment before these programs that you're taking now?
No, sir.
You're, do you remember what your judge told you when he sentenced you?
There wasn't none about no classes or none.
Okay, you don't remember any of that?
So I read my court minutes and all that not too long ago, and it wasn't nothing about taking classes or none.
Well, the judge, this is nothing you can do about it, but law enforcement are opposed to your release. And the judge who sentenced you said in his comments, if he doesn't get long-term substance abuse treatment, I guarantee you he will be back in jail.
Yes, sir.
What do you say to that?
I'd like to do long-term substance abuse to help me out.
They've got programs in prison. I mean, and I look, working is wonderful.
Yes, sir.
I think it's great. The work release programs in prison are fantastic.
Yes, sir.
But you need substance abuse treatment. You need to be able to have some tools to fight this problem that you have.
Yes, sir.
What is your disciplinary record while you've been in prison?
It's been clear.
You don't have any write-ups?
No, sir.
Your risk assessment to reoffend is very high. And it's because of your drug addiction.
Yes, sir.
Have you now tell me a little more about risk management. What did you take? You said you took a substance abuse class. Is that the risk management class?
Yes, sir.
Is that what you're talking about?
Yes, sir.
Now that's not just substance abuse, isn't it? Isn't it a combination of a lot of things?
Yes, sir.
So tell me what your plan is going to be to stay off of drugs. I mean, what prompts you to do drugs when you're out?
I kind of grew up in that life. I thought it was okay at first. I know it's not okay now. This 2.5 years of me down, I've realized that you can't maintain on drugs and stay on the streets. It's going to lead you right back to jail. I mean,
now I read your little application, and it says that you're currently attending AA. Are you currently doing AA right now? Or was that back when you wrote the paper?
no, I was going to currently do AA whenever I get out.
Okay. Okay. So you're not doing any AA meetings
No,
right
sir.
now.
They don't
You're
have
not
no
doing
AA
anything.
meetings here.
Okay. Where will you be living at?
Well, I want to get in a sober living house, but if I can't get in a sober living house, I'll be living in Minden.
And who is that with?
Brian Murray, 413 Fincher Road.
And who is he to you?
He's kind of like my stepdad.
Okay. All right. I mean, you did have a very good letter from Rogers Manufacturing saying you're a good worker, they want you there and all of that. But as we started out this conversation, the problem is drugs.
Yes, sir.
I'm very nervous about letting you out right now without any more treatment. I mean, your supervision history is very poor. You get released, you get revoked, you get released, you get revoked. It's just a constant cycle.
Yes, sir.
All right, I'm going to sit back and listen to everybody else ask you some questions, and maybe we'll hear from the warden and see how you're doing there. Thank
Yes,
you.
sir.
Mr. Jones?
Merritt, good morning. How are you?
Good morning.
You say you kind of grew up in the drug area, the drug scene. What's that about? What you mean?
I grew up, everybody in my family kind of did drugs, me growing up. So whenever I grew up around it, I kind of thought it was okay to join in and thought it was okay to do them.
Okay.
Then I started getting in trouble and I found out it's not okay.
So these family members that were doing the drugs, have any of them did any prison time? Any of them been in jail?
Yes.
And who was that?
My cousin, my mom, she ain't never done no prison time, but she has been in jail before.
How about your father?
Sir?
How about your father? Your dad?
My father, he's in the military.
He's in military.
Yeah. I was never around him.
You've never been around your father?
I've been around him, but it was very rare.
Yeah. Okay. So you've had some good examples around you of what drugs can do for you.
Yes, sir.
Drugs do to you, right?
Yes, sir.
So what is it that you wouldn't want to do different? Why wouldn't you want to do different?
What I wouldn't do different.
Why wouldn't you want to do different?
I really don't know how to answer that question, sir.
Do you want to do different? Do you want
Yes,
to do
sir.
different
Yes.
than the people you've been around?
Yes, sir. Yes, I do.
What's your educational background?
9th grade.
9th grade? Have you
Yes,
gotten
sir.
your GED?
No, sir.
Have you tried to get your GED?
Yes, sir.
When did you try to do that?
Before I came to jail,
And what happened?
I ended up getting in some mess and fell off and came back to jail.
Okay. Do you think that's something that you probably need to do, even
Yes,
at
sir.
your age?
Yes, sir.
And what age were you when you started this start doing drugs?
About 17.
17?
Yes, sir.
Any arrest as a juvenile?
One,
And what was that for?
hate crime.
For what?
Hate crime.
I didn't understand you.
A hate crime.
A hate crime?
Yes, sir.
Okay. What was that about?
I beat up a guy and I didn't know he was gay.
Oh, okay.
So,
Did you, that was as a juvenile?
yes, sir.
And what happened with that? Did you do time? You did.
I did about a week or two.
On probation or anything for it?
No, sir.
Okay. Okay, I don't have any other questions.
Yes, sir.
I got a couple of questions I want to ask you, Mr. Merritt. Were you using heroin, painkillers, or other opiates prior to coming to jail?
No, ma'am.
The buprenorphine?
The buprenorphine, I was getting that for a friend and I got caught walking down the road.
So you weren't using that. So
No,
your
sir.
drug of choice
No.
was strictly meth?
Meth and marijuana.
Okay. All right. I don't have any other questions. Let me ask the lieutenant, is there anything you'd like to say to us, sir?
No, man, we've checked. He has, as long as he's been here, no disciplinary actions here in our facility.
Okay, thank you. Is there anything, Mr. Merritt, you'd like to say to us before we reach a decision?
I appreciate y'all taking y'all's time to talk to me, and I hope something good.
All right, thank you, sir. Is Mr. Marabella, you ready to vote?
I'd like to move to go into executive session, Madam Chairman.
Can we have a motion for executive session by Mr. Marabella? Is there a second, Mr. Jones?
Second.
So could you call the roll, staff?
Yes.
We'll be in executive.
So,
All right, Mr. Merritt, we're back in regular session and we are prepared to vote, and Mr. Marabella will be voting first.
yes, ma'am.
Thank you, Madam Chairman. Mr. Merritt, you're a young man. You've got a lot of years left. You'll turn 25 next month, I think you told me. You've got a bad disease. You've got a disease that needs some treatment. I know you enjoy your work release. I know you do well. Everyone is written very highly of you. But as long as you're in work release, you're not going to be able to get the treatment that you need. Are you willing to give that up and go into treatment so we can get some help for you?
Yes, sir.
Madam Chairman, based upon all that I've heard, the history of drug abuse that Mr. Merritt has, the fact that he's got an excellent work record. Everyone speaks highly of him, but he's got a disease. I am going to move today to, my vote is going to be to grant his parole, conditioned upon him enrolling in Steve Hoyle, a long-term treatment program that we have in the Department of Corrections that will assist him in being able to get the tools he needs to fight this disease he has. Mr. Merritt, it's going to be up to you to be able to finish that program within a 9-month period of time. Otherwise, you won't be able to utilize this method that we're using. And I would encourage you very strongly to listen intently, sit on the front row, and listen to everything that's said and absorb it.
Yes, sir.
Find the tools that will help you stay off of drugs. You've got a long life ahead of you. So take advantage of this opportunity. So good luck to you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Marabella. Mr. Jones.
Merritt, do you have any kids?
Sir?
Do you have any kids?
No, sir.
Good, great. So no real big deal to have to be in the work release program.
No, sir.
Okay. I concur with Mr. Marabella. You're a young man, nice looking young man. Some kind of way you need to try to, even though you grew up in this drug environment, you owe it to yourself and your family. They would be proud of you if you did differently.
Yes, sir.
There's nothing wrong with being different.
Yes, sir.
Nothing wrong with being different, okay?
Yes, sir.
My vote today would be to for the same reasons as Mr. Marabella, and good luck to you, Mr. Mayor.
I appreciate y'all.
Mr. Merritt, you have a high risk score.
Yes, sir.
And so this is an unusual plan. We don't usually, when there's a high risk to recidivate or return back to prison, we don't grant parole. But in your case, we all think it's very important that you get some tools to help you deal with your addiction issues. And this is the way we believe we can help you. So my vote today also is to grant after completion of the Steve Hoyle long-term substance abuse program. I would, and that you follow, added special condition is that you follow, they're going to recommend an aftercare treatment plan for you.
Yes, ma'am.
And you follow whatever it is they recommend that you do. And
Right.
I would add, if there's no objections from my colleagues, that once out of jail, get your GED.
Yes, ma'am.
Good luck to you, sir. Today you've been granted parole.
Thank you.
Thank you, Lieutenant, for accommodating us today. That
Well,
concludes
thank
our
you.
business at Richland. So we'll adjourn at 12:14. Have a good afternoon.
All right, y'all too.
Well, there was something kind of different about this hearing. I don't know if it was like the setting with the background of the leather straps and the lieutenant sitting behind him, the sound of the clock ticking by. It was like you could actually hear it, and the way that he was kind of like mild mannered and just the way the parole board was making an exception and dealing with it. There's something different about this hearing. I don't really know also what Victor Jones meant when he said it's okay to be different. I'm not following that. But how do you think he did? You know, this hearing took place on 4/22/2021. And well, about 2 years later, this is what happened. And, you know, my first thought was, of course, is that it was an OD. Like Mr. Mirabella kind of had forewarning about that, or that he would do something to get locked back up. But it turns out it wasn't. And it seems he was doing okay because he hadn't gotten another conviction or arrest. But his body was found, and his body was found in the woods. He was missing. His family was looking for him, and right now, where we're up to on May 10th is that they're looking for the perpetrator. Here's the helicopter. A little look into Louisiana for you, and then we'll update you here.
Multiple law enforcement agencies still searching for this man, Cedric Stevens. He's accused of murdering Daniel Merritt. Merritt's body was discovered buried in a wooded area in Minden. KSLA News 12's Jasmine Franklin joins us in studio. You met with the Merritt family today.
Yes, Doug, I spoke with the Merritt family, and the Merritt family, of course, is mourning the loss of Daniel Merritt. Now, his family is still keeping hope that they'll be able to receive justice and find closure.
Well, obviously we're extremely hurt, but me as the father, being, I guess just the man, is I can't let myself do anything until I find out, what happened, so, because it's kind of hard. I'm trying to be strong for everybody else, but, I need answers before I can move on.
A father heartbroken over the loss of his son is left searching for answers. Daniel Merritt was initially reported missing Tuesday, May 2nd, according to Minden police. His body was discovered by family members searching for him on Sunday, May 7th. He was found buried in a wooden area off Auction Barn Road in Minden.
I've been hurt before, but nothing like this. I mean, we're all just, stomachs just tore up over the last week. It's brutal, really, because you never think anything like this is going to happen to you, and then it does. It's quite a shock.
Authorities are searching for Cedric Stevens, who was accused of the murder. James Merritt says he's trying to stay positive during this difficult time.
We're miserable, but unfortunately, life doesn't stop for you to mourn or feel bad. It keeps going. We have to keep going, but hopefully the community will come together and they're giving tips, left and right. Hope eventually, they'll get this guy, and, whether he was right or wrong or in it or not, it's questioning. They have to do the investigation.
it's kind of hard to understand. You don't want to judge a father in his grief, but that he mentioned if he's right or wrong, I don't quite understand what he means by that. But let's fast forward to when what happened is it took a couple weeks, um, I believe, so he surrendered himself on, if I'm reading this right, on June 2nd, which after from finding the body on May 7th to June 2nd, so he's on a run for quite some time. Let's jump in.
Involved in the death of a Minden man is locked up tonight. According to the Webster Parish Sheriff's Office, Cedric Stevens turned himself in this morning and deputies took him to the police station. Stevens is suspected to be involved in the death of 26-year-old Daniel Merritt. KSLA's Jasmine Franklin spoke with Merritt's father about the arrest. Jasmine, what did he have to say about the situation?
Yes, that's right, Jade. I spoke with Daniel Merritt's father, James Merritt, and he says both his son, Daniel, and the suspect, Cedric Stevens, were friends. And now that police have a suspect in custody, he feels a small sense of relief.
He was a friend of Matt Daniels. I'm glad he's in custody so we can get this answered, because I mean, what happened? That's what we need. It's a perfect example of be careful who your friends are.
The Merritt family is still searching for answers as to what led to their son, Daniel Merritt's death. Merritt went missing last month, and days later, his body was discovered buried in the woods off Auction Barn Road in Minden. Merritt's father, James, says his son, Daniel, and his suspected killer, Stevens, were friends.
We're just devastated. It's we created a life and now it's gone and it was taken. So it's really, really hard on the whole family.
James Merritt shares his reaction to the alleged suspect surrendering himself to police.
For the family, we're extremely relieved, but at the same time, we have to understand this man is still innocent until proven guilty. So at least now the suspect is captured, so we can get some answers, eventually.
Merritt says his family's lives will never be the same without Daniel.
Obviously, nothing's going to bring our son back, no matter what kind of information that you get. It's still a tough situation. And we're never going to get over the fact that he's gone, but at least now we can look forward to knowing and getting some answers that we know we deserve and need.
Yeah, it still seems like a kind of, anyways, I have no other information to share. I guess, and at this point, the wheels of justice will kind of move slowly, but there's nothing out there whether he's, it says he's locked up, but whether he has a trial, whether he's pled guilty, whether he's, that's things do take time. It all ended up around June 2023, and that's 6, 7, 8 months ago. For this type of trial case, it can definitely take time. I would guess. I would be curious though if they've settled on some type of deal or not, plea deal, or if they're going to go to trial. But it's tragic. They were friends. You don't know why he did it. It just, the whole thing just feels so sad. It's just a waste. It's just a complete waste of life. And if we do get some type of update on this, I'll try to put it in the comment section. I'll pin it to the comment section. But I'll put the other links in the description. Thank you, Richard, for lining it all up. And with that, I'll let you go.